International terrorism refers to terrorism that goes beyond national boundaries. An example issues of international terrorism is a conflict that happened between Iran and the United Kingdom. There are several international organizations that involve to solve issues of international terrorism. This study is to highlight about international terrorism rule and international organization that involved in international terrorism.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Nur Aisyah Kira binti Zahir. My matric numbers is 2020489382. Now, I will explain about international terrorism group Al-Qaeda. Al-Qaeda is a broad-based militant Islamist organization. In 1988, the primary founder of Al-Qaeda is Osama bin Laden, come with the goal of engage in global jihad and supporting Islamists with repelling foreign intervention. To achieve the goal, Al-Qaeda continues to adopt a new pattern of operations in response to combat global terrorism. Al-Qaeda has been responsible for carrying out several terrorist attacks against United States and its allies, including September 11 attacks, the 2002 Bali bombings, the 2003 Saudi Arabia bombings, the Madrid train bombing in March 2004, and the 2005 London bombing. Al-Qaeda attacks against United States and Western continue after September 11 attacks, but the group has not successfully carried out a major attack inside the United States since then. Al-Qaeda's strategy is to drive out the United States out of Islamic lands by launching a protracted campaign of terror that caused massive physical, political, and economic damage that would force the United States retreat from the region. Is it terrorist significant to the concept of jihad in Islam point of view? After attack on September 11, the phrase jihad became a worldwide trending. In Islam, concept of jihad in the war is to defend the life and right of Muslims. Meanwhile, Al-Qaeda appears to use violence as a tool, hoping to change the power correlation in their favor. All in all, Al-Qaeda has implemented the concept of jihad, which is contrary to what has been outlined by Islam.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Asnan. Today I would like to share with you guys about Daesh. Daesh is an acronym from Ad-Dawlah Al-Islamiyah fil Iraq wal Asham. Daesh is a terrorist group that also known as the Islamic State or ISIS. The group originated as Jama'at At-Tawhid wal Jihad in 1999, which pledged allegiance to Al-Qaeda in 2004. Abu Musab al-Zarqawi, who is the Jordan national, was group leader. There is some attack related to Daesh, such as the Mosul battle, side bombing, the Khyber Pakhtunkhwa rebellion, and many more. In the case of the Mosul battle, the organization intended to conquer Iraq's largest cities, which were located in the north of the country. Mosul, Iraq's second largest city, and informally the country's political and economic center. The Sunni Arab majority in the metropolis of 1.8 million includes more than 7,000 former Saddam-era officers and more than 100,000 additional former soldiers and were no longer serving. Because of the population backing and the accessibility of potential logistical help from the eastern half of Syria, the city location was critical from a military standpoint. However, as indicated by the arrest of 260 people suspected of having ties to Daesh by PDRM authorities between 2013 and 2016, Daesh belief has expanded in Malaysia. When Daesh effectively manipulates Quran verse to gain the attention of people who are regarded to be easy target, this occurs. The members of the Daesh group in Malaysia are not stupid. Rather, they are intelligent people who have made a mistake. One of the verses on the Quran that is often misinterpreted by this group is Surah At-Tawbah verse 111.
Hi, Assalamualaikum. My name is Nom Ainin Sofia binti Sulaiman with my matrix number 2020455976. So based on what has already been stated, terrorism must be put to the end in order to prevent any disruption of the country's peace and security. One of the international organizations that involved in combating the terrorism is the United Nations. Founded on October 24 in San Francisco, the aim of its establishment is not only to maintaining the international peace and security, but also protecting people's rights as well. A series of airline hijacking and suicide attacks by 19 terrorists affiliated with Al-Qaeda, which also known as Incident of 9/11, opposing non-Islamic government by force and violence founded by Osama bin Laden, involving 3 countries and nearly 3,000 lives were dead, directed the UNSC to prevent the acts of this terrorism, as well as guidance of 4 pillars made by United Nations counter-terrorism. As to confront the terrorism, UN did adopted several resolutions to counteract it from continuing by creating Counter-Terrorism Committee to monitoring the execution, as well as in creating implementation task force to deal with the issue easier. They also did enacted Resolution 1368 with the aim to combat all dangers occurred by terrorists. With the counter-terrorism strategy and its implementation taken by UN, these terrorist groups believed to be resilient and slowly responded, as several countries also commit under the sanctions against terrorists. The states also countering terrorism by freeze any funds or any other financial asset to those who attempt terrorist acts. Furthermore, UNSC also acknowledging the role of Interpol in combating terrorism, where the aim of its establishment itself is analyzing information regarding to terrorists and disseminate notice and diffusion, such as alerts, warning, and weapon threat from the terrorists.
Next is OSCE, or Organization for Security and Cooperation in Europe, that began in the early 1917 when the Conference on Security and Cooperation in Europe (CSCS) was established to serve as a multilateral forum for East-West dialogue and negotiation. The name was changed from CSCE to OSCE as part of this institutionalization process by decision of the government in December 1994. OSCE is made up of 57 members countries from all over the world, covering 3 continents which are North America, Europe, and Asia, over than 1 million people. Among those states are Canada, France, Germany, United Kingdom, United States, and many more. Terrorism is one of the most serious threats to peace, security, and stability, as well as to the enjoyment of human rights, social, and economic development in the OSCE. The OSCE has several strategies to combat terrorist activity, such as to promote the implementation of the international legal framework against terrorism, and also enhance international legal cooperation in criminal matters related to terrorism. For example, like the mission counter-terrorism in Kosovo. During the mission, the OSCE assists Kosovo institutional in implement revised anti-terrorism strategy and action plan in order to prevent terrorism. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Wahil Amani binti Muhammad Syahkafi. My matric number is 2020495382. In addition, the organization that involved is North Atlantic Treaty Organization, or known as NATO. NATO is an international organization that fights against international terrorism. NATO is also one of the organizations that play a role in the issue of international terrorism. For example, issue of terrorist attack on 11 September 2001 in the United States. The strategy taken by NATO is NATO invokes its collective defense clause Article 5 for the first and only time. Via this article, NATO members able to decide what action should be taken in order to address an armed attack on a NATO ally. For evaluation of these issues, it shows excellent evaluation as NATO has strengthened public support. Furthermore, NATO also an organization that plays a role in the issues of Islamic State of Iraq and Syria, ISIS. NATO's strategy to overcome this issue is by giving training, advising, and resisting Iraqi security force and institution. The evaluation of action that takes by NATO is effective, as the effort to help Iraq establish effective and accountable security force. Therefore, it is clear that NATO can make a significant contribution to combating terrorism.
In a conclusion, this terrorist organization should be suppressed from the ideological to the operational levels. It should also be noted that these terrorists are not solely Islamic terrorists. Only the media bombards the world with the information about Islam and terrorists. In the context of Malaysian peace, the PDRM Anti-Terrorism Unit has proven its worth by exchanging intelligence and information with Interpol and CIA. Cooperation between international organizations and a country, on the other hand, provide benefits in a variety of areas, including national security. When discussing this subject, the importance of countries' leaders' leadership is emphasized heavily. It dictates a country's future, factoring the economics, social structure, and national security. In the end, we think every normal human beings in the earth hate the war. As a wise man said, all war is a symptom of man's failure as a thinking animal.